Sunshine TV, we're here today with Connor, one of the head coaches at Newcastle Fighters. Thank you for joining us today.
Cheers, mate.
Just give us a brief background into Newcastle Fighters.
Newcastle Fighters started when me and my last Maz, she's the other head coach, Thai boxing coach in Newcastle Fighters. We had a few lads that were trained and were wanting to start getting them more fights and getting them more active. And we started it from pretty much holding pads in the kitchen, training in a tiny little back room of a gym, and it's sort of naturally just grown from there, sort of through word of mouth, getting more and more lads and lasses through the door. And now we've got a really good stable, like a little family, a good squad of fighters, and then a good sort of family of people that come round and support us. So it's perfect at the moment. We've just opened the new premises. It's big. It means we're going to expand a few of the places that we've been to beforehand. We could only get so big, and then we're sort of stuck. But now we've got a place that we can really grow into and really grow to sort of what we want to do in the future. And
where is the gym located?
It's in Walls End in Newcastle, so at the east end of Newcastle, which is like, for me anyway, it's the area that I've always wanted to have a gym because there's no other Thai boxing gyms in that area. It's a big attachment area with a lot of people, so it's perfect.
Now, in regards to the fight tonight, especially Reece Thompson, who fought in a four-man tournament, how did you prepare him for?
With Reece is really easy to train because he's got so many elements to his game. Obviously, he can Thai box, he can kick, he can clinch, he's got good hands. So you really just have to tweak his style. I mean, I've not done a whole lot of prep with Reece for this fight because they're all in the gym. We've got multiple lads fighting on the show. And the good thing about Reece is I could say to him, before his first fight tonight, I want you to go really quick and get him out of then around. And he can do that because he's got good boxing fundamentals. He hits hard. He mixes his shots up really well. The second fight, and all of this is on the day. I can go to Reece. I want you to get into a kicking exchange with him. And then because I thought Tyler was maybe a little bit weak to the body off his first fight. He got hit in the body a lot in his first fight. And I watched it. So all I had to do to Reece was say, right, we need to look for a body shot, get into a bit of a Thai boxing fight, a bit of a kicking exchange, and then when it presents itself, I know Reece will catch a kick. He's really good at it. As soon as that presents itself, bang him in the body and then stay on him. And he's done it because he's a really adapt. All the lads, they can really adapt to the different styles because of the way we train them. Maz trains them in a purely sort of Thai boxing way. I've got a little bit more of a kickboxing background, but our styles of coaching mash really well. Obviously, together we know each other really, really well, so the lads can sort of adapt and do both, especially Reece.
Now you mentioned Reece's second fight with Tyler. Obviously the first exchanges was, like you mentioned, a lot of kicks. Now, especially in a tournament setting, do you go away and watch tapes of your opponents and then formulate a strategy, or is it purely on the night?
It depends fight to fight. It depends how close to the fight you are. If you take a last minute fight, there's no point in game planning. But the way that we train, I feel like we do a little bit of everything each night. We'll do a little bit of boxing work, a little bit of kicking work, a little bit of clinching work. So the fighter should be able to adapt. I really feel like if you want to be a good fighter, you should be able to adapt to any situation. So I should be able to, a good example was, just moving away from Reece, was Sard, who fought for us tonight. He lost, but we'd worked low kicking and clinching with Sard for the full camp, and it wasn't working. So tonight I went to start using your left kick, and he could get behind his kick a little bit and work, and he was able to make that adaptation because we train everything all of the time. And I think it's quite easy to do. You just need to do a little bit of everything every night, and your fighters will build up to being really well-rounded fighters quite quickly.
Now, how important is it for you to have not only a good stable of fighters, but fighters that can kind of work off each other? Like you mentioned Sam, we know Reece, you mentioned Sarge just now.
I think there's an element of luck. We've really lucked out at the moment. We've had a couple of really good years with a lot of big wins, but we've got a lot of lads all at the same weight. All at the same weight. We've got a lot of good juniors coming through that are all at the same weight. So when you've got good solid training, which I think we give. I think we've got me and Maz are really quality coaches, and then when you've got good lads that are all game and they're all in the gym every night, and they're all, especially we've looked at because they're all the same weight, then the level's just going to go through the roof. So there's a little bit of me and Maz put in a lot of hard work with the gym. We put in a lot of hard work, but you also sometimes look out with the lads that you've got. All of those lads, we haven't made them game. We haven't made them take a fight on a day's notice. They all want to do it, and then that sets the example for the next lot that come through, the next group of teams that come through. Then hopefully they'll set the next example, and hopefully it rolls from there. Hopefully.
Now, do you feel like your gym and your fighters are now starting to get the recognition that you rightly deserve?
I don't know if we deserve it. We definitely deserve it. But I think, yeah, we're definitely recognised as a solid gym in Newcastle. But I don't think about that at all. Okay. I'm not bothered about other people's recognition, or I'm not bothered about that. I want my lads to come away from there, because none of them, you're very rarely going to make a living from fighting. Yeah. But all I'm focused on is my lads having a good career, staying safe, having a really good career in fighting, and then coming away from it with something that they can be really proud of when they eventually retire. I'm not really, as long as the lads are happy, as long as the other coaches and the other people, everyone that helps towards the team's happy, I'm not really bothered about other people's recognition and what people think of a gym. It's nice. It's nice when people say, "Oh, you've got a good fighter." That's really nice. But I'm just bothered about my team.
Now, talking about tonight's show, how important are shows like Generation?
I think it's really important so the lads get the atmosphere. I mean, we go to a lot of big shows, Muay Thai Grand Prix, Hitman Fight League, Victory up here especially. And those shows are brilliant for the novice lads coming out. They get the big walkout, they get this a great sort of his own pay-per-view, there's commentators and stuff. But I don't think you get the atmosphere of a social club sometimes. I think you've got to cut your teeth in these sort of venues, because there's nothing like when you're fighting someone, their family's on one side, their other families, your family's on the other side. Everyone's screaming, everyone's shouting. You can hear everything. You can barely hear your coach. Do you know what I mean? It's a really intense environment to learning, because you've got to be good at fighting in the moment. Sometimes on the bigger shows, when the crowd's a little bit quiet, I can corner a fighter and you can hear every single thing I say. Yeah. I can hear everything their corner's saying, and I can listen in and we can game plan from there. And it's almost like you're playing a game of chess with the other coach sometimes, you know what I mean? But in this environment, it is just a fight. In the atmospheres, I don't think there's a better atmosphere, really. Yeah. I really, really don't. I love cornering fights and social clubs, proper love it.
Yeah. Now, this tonight was your second show. Yeah. What are some of the lessons that you took from the first show which you implemented into tonight's?
My girlfriend, Maz, she does pretty much everything. She's a really good matchmaker. I think the sign of good matchmaking or the thing, well, I wouldn't say we've changed it, but the thing that we'll always look to get better at is you don't want a full show of first round stoppages on another show, because it shows that you've either set people up or it shows that you're not a good matchmaker. And there was a lot tonight. There was 3 or 4 or 5, probably 5 that I watched that were good 50-50s back and forth. And I think that's what you should have on any show, really, but that's sort of what we pride ourselves on, is having really good 50-50 fights back and forth, different styles, different gyms on, different mixes of kickboxing, Thai boxing. I think last year we even had a Taekwondo sort of lad on. Yeah. MMA guys as well, getting them to step in and just do striking, just so that you want, when you're coming up, you want to fight all these different people, so that when you eventually go pro and you come across against someone that can do everything, you don't come unstuck. Do you know what I mean?